It's honestly a pretty fun time right now because we're in the middle of the Verlisify Always Right tour, and there's all kinds of insanity going on. Korean champions getting caught cheating and getting lifetime bans for cheating. We also had the Pokemon forums opening up and then becoming worse than 4chan, and that's kind of what this is about. But I want to read the mean tweets and see where the Verlisify sentiment is. So yeah, the first thing you see on the official Pokemon forums is a Verlisify hate thread. And this was the one where we're just like, thoughts on Verlisify and why he sucks. Now, you go in there and there's just no actual thoughts or no real explanation as to why I suck. And that's kind of like where we're at. It's all ad hominem and lies, and then like my dabbling with the Pokemon community forum just showed like it immediately got flooded with perverts and maps. So Pokemon community is just in a bad place. But one of the top ones, official, yeah, it's the new forum, so I guess this person was just late to the party. I see no lies. Please, one example of anything I have ever done wrong. And, like, the weird thing is the replies don't really get any engagement. And it further proves my point. Like, people just shared this, and then there's nothing to add into it because it's all lies and nonsense. They ain't wrong. Guy causes so much drama, plays victim every time when it comes back to bite him. All these years later, and he's never changed. Because I've never started drama ever. Stating facts of someone being a cheater is not drama. Being fairly critical of something, in this case Smogon, is not starting drama. But that's where we are with the younger generation of idiots. They live in emotion instead of reality. And then when I go, wow, this hate is invalid because I'm against lying, cheating, and stealing, or I'm just objectively right, and idiots are saying, no, you're wrong, Verlisify. They say I'm playing victim. Or when I'm actually the victim and not playing victim, and I'm being hacked and doxxed and canceled over lies and arguments that people can't back up. Here we go. I've been on YouTube for 13 years, and he decided to tell me I knew nothing about how YouTube works, then banned me from his channel so I couldn't comment. I would like to know the context of this, but I've done this a lot. If it's someone saying like, oh, dislike botting doesn't affect your channel because dislikes only promote a video, no, you're wrong and don't understand how YouTube works, at least modern YouTube. Yes, that was the case back in 2016, but after Leafy got like manually throttled and removed from the algorithm by YouTube, that stopped being the case. Also the Logan Paul thing. YouTube shifted from an engagement-based algorithm because it created an uncontrollably organic platform. And then like refuse to take criticism. If you're wrong about something and I prove you wrong, that is not me refusing to take criticism. And like this is the weirdest part about it because no one has ever given any evidence or shown me to do anything wrong in the community. That's not my fault. But somehow they try to make it my fault where it's like, oh, he can never admit that he's wrong, even though no one's ever proven me wrong, and I can't take criticism when no one's ever made valid criticism. Also, let's take a look at this channel. You've been on for 13 years, and you have 622 subscribers on 2,000 videos. You don't know anything about YouTube, my guy. That guy gave Lutano a voice clip saying Lutano sucks, Lutano's like not good at all, and he plays it every time he gets a donation. Didn't know about that. And that's just ill behavior. Everyone's just deranged and ill in the Pokemon community. And yeah, Lutano is never shown to be good at the game. I mean, OG was taken is how you can like gauge a caliber of elite skill. And OG takes Lutano's lunch every time. And also your name being Map and having maps and facts is not a good look at all. And then the rest of it is like the weirdest contradictions. Verlisify is a wonderful case study because he sucks, but my damn, compared to the general Pokemon community, he looks like a savior. And I also get these comments all the time where someone's like, wow, the one time I've agreed with Verlisify, Verlisify has a rare W, and I'm like, hey, when are the times I've been wrong, or when are the times I take an L? And then they never reply. They're just like, oh, you're always wrong. Why? Because people say so. But if people are just lying, or they don't have anything to back it up, then that means nothing. So, it's like the weirdest conditioning, where like these NPCs, these people that have spent way too much time online, they have no social skills, they're actually deranged, they're developmentally stunted, they're all kinds of, like, unwell. They only know hate and mob mentality, and then when they realize, like, oh, Verlisify has actually been right, they can't admit it because, one, they don't want any backlash because numbers on the internet matter to them because they have nothing else going in their lives, and again, they've been conditioned to just be hateful towards one thing because they have no capacity to think for themselves or to express for themselves. Verlisify is a case of which Shofu has summed up perfectly years ago. That's just another NPC thing. Like, if you've ever quoted the Shofu rap as some kind of argument against me, you legitimately have an IQ under 80. It does nothing. It means nothing, and also the lyrics are always weak. Like, my wrist is so stupid they call it Verlisify. Does that mean, like, it's a stupid good watch? So that means I'm stupid good? Or, like, you can't have it both ways. And remember, Shofu's on that poverty life. He had to fill his stacks with ones. Dude can't even pull $500 out of the bank for a rap. So yeah, anyone that goes to the Shofu diss rap instead of actually bringing an argument against me is in the most worthless of tier in the community. At least the Pokemon community can finally agree on something, one thing that the Pokemon community collectively agrees on, and that's really all it is. Like, if you just lie about something, but everyone is in on the lie, then the truth doesn't matter. All is as it should be. Like, and that's the thing, like, I'm toxic. People say that I'm the negative one, I'm the toxic one, I'm the bad person, when, again, all these people know is hate. All they do is spend their worthless lives on social media just looking for hate posts and then promoting that. I call out the toxicity, the negativity, the lying, the cheating, the scamming, the theft, the fraud, and all that stuff, and that makes me a threat, which is why all of this hate comes against me. But again, there's like no good in the Pokemon community. There's no good Poketubers that are willing to stand up and defend me because they're all doing the same things, or they choose money over what's good. Oh, trust me, you really don't want to know how many bad things he's done throughout the years. None. And yet, there's so many. There's so many he couldn't even be bothered to list them, let alone give one example. And this is every argument. I go, please, give one example. And then they say, you know. But like all tribalism on social media, even when proven wrong, they just can't break from it. One good thing about these forums I've seen so far, and like, it's only about being as hateful as possible because that is what they've been trained to do. Death, taxes, Verlisify crying about hacks. Cheating is wrong, and that just keeps on going. They don't even know why they hate me. They just know that the mob says hate, so hate. And then there's this again. The only thing he's right about is ginning. That's like almost everything that I've made my channel around. And then the only other thing would be like Smogon. But I just got proven right on Smogon because their own surveys have proven that banning everything does not make the game more fun or competitive, and it only makes it less fun and less competitive. And those are the stats coming from their own community, on top of easily being able to dismantle any of their ban logic because it's inconsistent, it's made up, or common sense and basic game understanding completely debunks it. Yo, this is actually legit. You all ever think about how Mr. Beast was active on Pokemon Showdown in the early 2010s and is very likely aware of who Verlisify is? I've thought about that as well. Now, I didn't play Pokemon Showdown in the 2010s, but it's one of those things like early content Pokemon X and Y, especially if Mr. Beast was very interested in competitive Pokemon. He has to know who I am, but I'm also like very open to hearing from him. That's some kind of weird alt timeline stuff, and maybe he actually doesn't like me because he was just a Smogon fanboy and I was against Smogon. Wait a second, I need to check something. Because how crazy would it be if Mr. Beast has actually been hidden on the channel because he like commented on one of my Smogon videos early on? Okay, like I didn't rig this or change it. Like, okay, maybe he doesn't know, but it's at least 50-50. It's coin flip chance and Mr. Beast knows who I am. Nature is healing, once again, only knowing how to hate for attention. I've hated him for over a decade. And then just the lies. Stupid neo-Nazi and awful at Pokemon and content creation. It's weird to hate me for over a decade when I haven't even been making Pokemon content for a decade. And that's like a weird thing when people are like, oh, I remember you from like Pokemon Black and White videos. I'm like, but I've never made Pokemon Black and White videos. Technically Fisher4930, but people never cite like that. They act like, oh yeah, Verlisify was making those videos on the Verlisify channel. Who is the most ticklish girl in Pokemon? Who thought this was a good idea? Yeah. Duality of mankind. Just the nonsense. So the thing is, at least like some of the responses also just, oh my god, this forum is a complete disaster. Let's go, screw Verlisify, actual human garbage. Why though? Why? Dang, I actually should have prepped this video by like replying to these people and just asking why and getting more of the derangement. But there's also a trend in these profiles, and that's it. I was really hoping that between this post and the actual thread, I would finally find the one example of something I've done wrong to deserve any amount of hate, let alone being the most hated and canceled person in Pokemon. But it still does not exist in any capacity, and that's just insane. And that's it. Like, again, it's mostly about the influencers. The influencers are bad people. People wonder, like, oh, why don't you like this guy? Because they're fake. They're just in it for the money. They're in it for exploiting and manipulating children, and then just not improving Pokemon. Every piece of content I make aims to make the Pokemon community better, to teach someone, to make a revelation, to actually show what is wrong with the community, and no one else wants to make Pokemon better. Because I'm the only person that loves Pokemon left, at least when it comes to the influencers and my audience, and that's it. And then when you're dealing with all this nonsense, no one wants to go through this. No one wants to be like, so what's Pokemon community? Ah, yes, a forum of pedophiles and just nonstop hate and toxicity. No one wants to stay in that. No one wants to be a part of Pokemon. So my audience, who isn't terminally online, who doesn't have all of this derangement and illness, they just leave. They just go to better places. And while it sucks, and while I wish they wouldn't, I can't blame them. And then no one from the outside, like people from the outside, they see this and they're just like, not even touching it. Nah. I do not want to get invested. I do not care to make this better. It is unsalvageable. So that's where we're at with Pokemon, and it just keeps on getting proven. So another part of the Verlisify Always Right tour. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.